What's the most real relationship advice you can give? It's fine to not always want to spend 100% of your time with your spouse. Not every moment of every day is going to be bliss, and sometimes it really takes some effort. I love my wife to bits, but there are some days when I would just like to do things by myself. It doesn't mean our relationship isn't great, but it can be really refreshing to just take a stroll around a shopping center, or go and get some food alone or something. Don't lose yourself as an individual in a relationship. Intimacy is way more important than most people realize. Go on holiday together. If you can agree on food, sleep soundly, compromise on activities and do your own thing one of the days and not get mad at each other, you stand a good chance of lasting a while. I love my boyfriend to bits and miss him a lot. We don't live together yet, but boy do I like sleeping on my own in bed sometimes. Space is healthy. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to live in each other's pockets. When you disagree, remember that you're on the same team. You're supposed to fight a problem, not the other person. 1. Don't expect the other person to be able to read your mind. 2. Be a team, not opponents. 3. Everybody farts at some point. Communication is the foundation upon which everything else is built. They say don't go to bed angry, not because anger does something while you're sleeping, but because it means you didn't communicate properly and you're giving up on trying. Be calm. Actively listen. Do not dismiss your partner's statements. Assume good faith. It's you and me versus the problem, not me versus you. If something's bugging you, talk to your sir about it. If you feel enraged about something, wait until you're well fed, well rested, with warm extremities before talking about it. But talk about it at the first opportunity, calmly, rationally, and honestly. Keep the discussion limited to that one narrow thing. If something's bugging your so, hear them out. Never think, well, I'm not bothered by that, so it's not a problem. Think, my sir is bothered by this, and that's a problem. If you think the concern is unreasonable, frame the discussion as solving the problem of your sir is being unhappy. The worst fights and arguments happen over trivial things. Because it's not the trivial thing that's actually causing the problem. It's probably a series of things, or a general lack of satisfaction, and the toothpaste cap being left off is just the instigator of the fight. If you communicate often and openly, these things will not fester, they won't pile up, and you won't get into such fights. Your spouse isn't going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. There will be mistakes and misunderstandings. What really matters in a relationship is not being perfect, but how you handle the imperfections of yourself and your spouse in a respectful, reasonable way. You have to be honest with them, especially when it's hard to do. Me and my boyfriend get uncomfortably real with each other sometimes, and something we have both learned is to listen to criticism without getting defensive, and when giving criticism, we don't attack each other, no matter how angry or sad we are at each other. I've had him call me out for certain behaviors that nobody has ever called me out on, and I've done the same for him. We're both better people for it, because when we get it all out on the table, we have no choice but to work on ourselves. Learning how to be bored together is important. You don't have to be on the go, doing stuff and planning stuff and being fun and exciting all the time. It's okay to just sit around and not do anything and not talk to each other. It's not unhealthy, I promise. There's a reason it's called the honeymoon phase, and eventually you won't have as much to talk about other than how the day went, or might not always feel those butterflies in your stomach when you think about them. That's when it becomes a test in the relationship, and you both have to work on it to make it work. You will get into fights, but learn to get over them, or I doubt it'll last. Resentment can kill feelings for someone. In an ideal relationship, the contributions are 60-40, where both partners are the one trying to give 60%. My mom asked an elderly couple who had been married for decades what their secret was. They said that they act as if being nice to each other is a competition. That has always stuck with me. I have been married for 28 years. When I was engaged, a dear lady, then in her 80s and still very much in love with her husband of 60+ years, told me this. Just because he is your husband, don't think he requires less regard than your friends. Before you yell at him for something, anything, ask yourself if you would yell at your friend for the same thing. What she was trying to say is that being married together is not a free pass to stop being a decent human being. You are going to get annoyed by the socks on the floor, but is it an excuse to fly off the handle? Respect and common courtesy are my recommendation, and you don't need to keep score. There's no winner. Sometimes you have to spend years with people to realize what you deserve. It was never a waste. You needed the experience to figure out what works best for you or what to avoid. You'll never forget your exes. They were there for a reason. Relationships are work, they aren't always fun. You won't always be madly in love, and you can't put them on a shelf and ignore them. Always be mindful and thoughtful to that person's love map. Like they might need a quick text every morning when you get to work letting them know you're safe. Makes zero sense to you, but knowing it's something small and means the world to them, well, why the hell not? They might get stressed out, and you helping to clean the house for when they've finished work might mean more to them than someone else you've been with who wanted flowers to show love. Know what it is that your partner loves and makes them feel loved too. Edit. Oh wow. Thank you very much for whoever gave me a silver. Thank you. Thank you. If you go into a marriage, long-term commitment with the impression that you'll be happy all the time and your life will only change for the better, you are absolutely wrong. Be realistic that there will be days you won't be able to stand each other. Your lives may absolutely hit rough patches and you will not agree on how or why that situation occurred or even how to get out of it, and the like. A study of long-term relationships found that successful relationships have one major thing in common: the spouses are verbally supportive of each other's interests and thoughts. For example, if your spouse is very excited about Pokemon Go and wants to tell you all about the monsters they caught that day, the supportive spouse would listen to them talk about it and be excited for what they are excited about, even if they don't know how the game's played or think that it's stupid. The couple that's going to divorce, that other spouse would say, "I don't care. That game is for kids," or be generally dismissive of the conversation and change topics. Support what they are excited about as much as you can, even if it's just listening with a smile on your face while you do a shopping list in your head. Everyone is a sometimes. Everyone does stupid Everyone makes mistakes. Don't go into a relationship with the expectation that your partner isn't going to up or hurt you. They are human, and they will have times of poor judgment, high stress, and depression. Think of all the times in your life you've unintentionally hurt someone. Your partner will do that to you, and you will do it to them. Don't expect perfection, because you aren't perfect. A long-term, healthy relationship is not one where both partners are perfect 100% of the time. It's one where you can say, "Hey, you're being a huge right now," and your partner says, "You're right, and I'm sorry." You don't need to be in one. But what if it's been almost 9 years and I'm getting lonely? Pray to anime. During an argument, never say something you'll regret later. Arguments are temporary, but people don't forget hurtful, personal comments. Also, the one that loves the least always controls the relationship, based on observing family and friends' relationships. If your so has a healthy relationship with their ex, especially when they have kids together, it's a good sign. Don't cheat. It can really with someone mentally. If you don't want to be with a person anymore, just tell them. Sometimes you can give everything you have and be your absolute best self and still have it not be enough for someone. If that happens, it's on them, not you. A BoJack Horseman quote. It's funny, when you see someone through rose-colored glasses, the red flags just look like flags. Accept when you're wrong. Accept that your partner won't always accept they're in the wrong. Accept apologies. Accept compliments. Be accepting. Don't ever eat her leftover food she's saving. It's not okay. It's not ever okay. I ate my girlfriend's 3 remaining hot wings long ago and she still brings it up years later. Relationships are not there to fix you. If you aren't happy with yourself, the relationship won't make that a reality. When you want your partner to be fit, attractive, and dress well, don't forget that they want that as well. Want the best for the other person, not for yourself. That's why jealousy is poison. You want your SF to look good, but only for you. Get a clue. Give them something to want in return. Be a success. Take care of yourself. Learn something every day. Don't waste your time. Be kind and demonstrate that daily. You get what you give. Do the dishes. Meet the family before getting married. Talk about your feelings and your relationship, all the time, to each other. Pick your battles. You can disagree without making it known, if it's really not that big of a deal. My therapist always says, never marry potential. Watch how a potential mate treats others, waiters, people in the drive-thru when getting fast food, other people in line at the grocery store, their family members, etc. Pay particular attention to how they treat people over whom they have a social advantage, subordinates, employees, the uglier, awkward friend, and so on. Do they talk behind their backs? Do they mock them? Do they give a look of disgust when they turn away? That's how they're going to eventually treat you. Don't let your or your partner's parents destroy your relationship with their behavior. Send her NSFW incoming text about 30 seconds before you send her a picture of your dressed as Rudolph as a gag. Saved her from opening it during a faculty meeting. Focus on the important thing. When my significant Otter and I first got together, we fought quite a bit. Despite being very different people, we agreed on many things and mostly found the same things funny, and the SNU was great. However, the places where we didn't fit so well generated a lot of sparks. After one bad fight that had us not talking to each other for a week, we got together and decided that the important thing was us. Together, we wanted to be together, and so we made a decision to never let an argument escalate to that point again. What's more important? Winning a fight, or being with the person that makes you happy? That didn't magically solve our problems. We still have disagreements and arguments and shouting matches. But we know what's more important. Next month is our 10-year anniversary. Find the least crazy one that really likes you. Hell, yes.